All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a good one out there. And in the video today, we're going to be talking about a bait that is really starting to pick up here in the north. I know for you guys down south, this bite is already gone. But hopefully you can learn something in this video for when it does come back in the fall here, as well as in the next pre-spawn period that you guys are going to roll through. So with that said, the bait that I am talking about is none other than the lipless crankbait. Like I said, this is really going to start picking up here in the northern areas of the United States in the next month or so. And I'm going to have one tied on in all of the 3 tournaments that I got coming up because I think this bait can be a major player and it just catches some big ones. So when it comes to lipless crankbait fishing, lipless crankbaits are a very simple bait. However, they require quite a bit of equipment to fish these things really effectively. You need to have a lot of different types of equipment, and it's really kind of annoying because it's not like you can just pick one rod and go and it's going to work for everything. To really dial these in to maximize the performance that you're going to get and the fish catches or just the bites that you're going to get, you really have to dial in your gear. And like I said, it's actually really annoying, but we're going to go into that and I'm going to teach you guys kind of my system and what has really started to work for me as far as rods go. You really only need 2, but like I said, we're going to get into that here in a minute. But as far as the baits go, I throw like 4 different styles of baits, and honestly, you probably could really only throw 3 and get away most of the time. When it comes to all of these baits, I throw them in a 1/2 ounce and a 1/4 ounce, like 90% of the time. I have a 3/4 ounce in there. However, I very rarely throw a 3/4 ounce lipless. I feel like a majority of the time I can get it done with a 1/2 ounce just by varying my line size. And obviously a 1/4 when it's super skinny or I'm trying to mimic really small bait in the fall. So when it comes to the actual baits, the first one I'm going to talk about here is none other than the Strike King Red Eye Shad. I've got 2 different models here. This is going to be the original Red Eye Shad. It's got that traditional BB sound to it, which is an extremely effective bait, caught a pile of fish on it. However, my personal favorite when it comes to the Red Eye Shad line is going to be that Tungsten 2-tap. And you can hear the difference in sound here. Just a 1-knocker style lipless crankbait, and for whatever reason, I am telling you guys, I feel like you get a lot bigger bites on these 1-knockers. I have 0 proof. I have no idea why, but I feel like the bigger bass that I catch on a lipless all come on a 1-knocker style bait. Not to say that this isn't a fantastic option. You can catch a pile of fish, and I will always have these in the boat when I'm throwing a lipless because some days they do just prefer that over the 1-knocker. But day in and day out, 1-knocker is going to be my favorite. I feel like the 1-knocker style of lipless crankbaits also will fish a little bit higher in the water column a little easier. I'm not sure why that is. I don't know if maybe it's because of the weight positioning of these baits being in the head versus BBs rolling around in there. However, if I don't hook myself here, however, these baits do tend to ride a little bit higher, and I really prefer that because I mostly fish liplesses over the tops of grass and stuff like that, and just comes through the cover a lot easier. Now, the next bait I'm going to talk about here is by far my favorite lipless crankbait of all time, and that being the Booyah. I think it's the Hard Knocker. It's just the one that's got that 1-knocker sound to it. Absolutely phenomenal baits. These things are extremely weedless for whatever reason. I feel like these things come through grass absolutely phenomenal. Those Strike King ones are really good, but I really like to throw those around like Rip Rap and Rock and that kind of stuff. They still come through grass really well. However, I feel like these Booyahs come through grass phenomenal. Like night and day difference between these and a lot of other brands out there. So definitely go pick these up if you haven't thrown them already. Now, when it comes to the next bait I'll jump into actually is going to be, I'll just pull this guy out right here because I've got it. This right here, the original just cotton cordell lipless crankbait. I don't even know what these things are called. This is actually an old version, but I throw the new ones as well, and they're absolutely phenomenal. The reason that I think these baits work so well is because they are so loud. Like, I have no idea how or why they're that loud, but these things are loud. Like when you're throwing them off the side of the boat, you can hear them like 20 yards away from you when you're reeling them back. It's like a cobra or a rattlesnake's tail is just right next to your ear. It's the craziest sound, but they catch fish, I think, because it is so loud. That one you gotta try already. Those are really inexpensive baits as well, so not gonna break the bank when it comes to purchasing a bunch of lipless colors. All right, what's the last one I'm gonna talk about here? I don't know where I had set it. Honestly, it's not even that important. Those are really the three that I throw, to be honest. I think the other one, where is the other one? I don't even know if I have them anymore, to be honest. I don't even throw them. Like I said, those are the three that I've got. The Booyah Hard Knocker, the Strike King Red Eye Shads, and those Cotton Cordell ones are absolutely phenomenal. You can fish those in all water depths. Just an extremely efficient bait, or extremely efficient baits around grass, riprap docks, anything like that. Just phenomenal lipless crankbaits. When it comes to colors, I keep my stuff really simple. I've got your reds, I've got your green pumpkin-y craw colors, a little bit more vibrant ones like this guy right here. This is actually one of my favorite colors that I don't even know the name to. However, just kind of like a really awesome perchy bluegill imitating color there, and shads, and that's really it. I mean, shad, chrome, you guys get the picture here. This one's all torn up, but you can see that was just a gold chrome one there that has been beaten to death. But when it comes to colors, shad, craw, bluegill, and some type of chartreuse, fire tiger, or something like that, you could pretty much cover every scenario out there with those colors. Now, I'm going to jump into the gear here, and this is where it gets a little bit more complicated, and make sure to go down in the comments if I lose you guys anywhere, to just ask questions down there, and I'll be sure to answer everything that I can for you guys. So when it comes to rods, the lipless rod that I really have found to be effective for me is a 7'4" medium heavy or medium moderate action rod. And yes, it's fairly long. However, when you're throwing a long distance on grass flats and things like that, you really want to be able to keep that rod tip up in the air, like vertical, so you can fish that bait over the top of the grass that you're fishing. Otherwise, with the shorter rod, you don't get as much leverage or just height advantage with the rod, so that bait tends to dig down into that grass and you just can't fish the bait effectively. With that said, what I really like to do when I'm fishing shallow is throw 16-pound test, and that's also on the 7'4". I throw 16, just gonna help that bait stay up a little bit higher in the water column. I like anywhere from a 6 to a 7 gear ratio reel for this. A 7 if I really need to move that bait fast, or I'm fishing like super skinny water. But if I'm fishing like 2 to 4 foot, anywhere in between there, you can get away with a 6, no problem. But if you're fishing it skinny, like I said, go with that faster burner reel. Just gonna allow you to keep that bait out of the stuff. So that is the first setup that I really like day in and day out, from 0 to 5 foot. That's when I'm going to throw this guy, just because I keep that rod tip high and I keep the bait out of all the trash. The second one is going to be this guy right here. This is just your standard, this is just like a standard 7'2" or 7 foot medium crankbait rod. You know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy here. I got 12-pound test on it. This is what I'm going to be throwing my lipless, anywhere from like 5 to like 12 foot. Anywhere in between there, that's really where I'm going to throw this. Just going to allow you to get the bait a little bit deeper. You could still throw it on that 7'4" rod. You don't necessarily need to have this guy right here. It's just that I like, if I don't have to fish that longer rod, I don't want to. It's just going to tire you out a little bit more because it's so much longer. It's a little bit more cumbersome. If you can get away with the shorter rod, I tend to do it. So that's why I say that you're really going to want to have the 7-footer. It's just a little bit more comfortable to fish. Now, if you wanted to, you could get away with just having the 7'4". However, you're going to have to change your line size depending on how deep you're fishing. It's just the way it is. It's really annoying, but what can I say? Now, that's pretty much it. I don't make it super complicated, but like I said, if you're just getting into lipless fishing, make sure you take the stuff that I'm telling you and apply it. Otherwise, you're gonna have a terrible time. When I first started fishing lipless crankbaits, did not set up my equipment right, and my performance suffered because of it. I hated fishing a lipless. I wanted nothing to do with it because I felt like it was just super ineffective, like I could never get it to come through the grass like other people could. And at the end of the day, it was just because I wasn't throwing a high enough line pound test or a fast enough gear ratio to keep it out of that stuff. So really pay attention to what I'm telling you here. This is really crucial information for those of you that are especially just starting off fishing a lipless crankbait. But that's going to pretty much do it for this video. I'll put a couple of fish catches in here, actually, of a couple bass that I just caught recently throwing a lipless crankbait around. But I hope you guys liked the video. Subscribe to the channel, tell your buddies about it, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. That was the craziest shit. Watch that one, eat it. Another one. Ooh, chewing it. One hook. 20 minutes. It's on the old Booyah Booyah one knocker and Sunset Craw.